At a very apposite point, we've got a decent move going on now. I'm back on the multi-array, so I've got the YM data, the YM, NQ, and ES, and top line is the three of them on the 5 minute, but you can see they are now in agreement, certainly in terms of the ES and the NQ. So we've got bullish momentum, nicely developing, breaking away from the volume point of control, decent volume under that last candle, decent volume under here, starting to see some volume coming in, although the YM is the one that's struggling, but certainly in terms of the NQ and the ES, they are starting to reflect the bullish trend. What we've also got going on in terms of the VIX is that is also falling, but if we head on back onto the workspace, there we go. This is what we're seeing right now. May not last very long, but you know, it's certainly an upwards trend, certainly tradable. The trend monitor is blue on 15-second. You can see it's migrated through to 1 minute. So we've had the transition through. We've transitioned now into strong bullish on 3, bullish on 5, bullish on 10, and you know, we've got the uptrend here on 15. Nice injection of volume on that last candle. So we've had a decent move higher, and we can pick really any of these. Just pop the 3 minute one open. There we go. Low volume node ahead. We've managed to blast through that. Decent volume under that last candle, which is fine. Got a minor reversal going on at the moment. I'll go down onto the 5 minute chart. Let's have a look at the price action. Okay, so we've got, we had a falling volume under this one. So we had a rising price, but the volume was falling away. More or less the same spread, but then the next one gives an injection. That looks quite wide, but that's okay. We've got decent volume under that one. We've got a low volume node ahead. So, you know, in terms of moving forward, that's a good sign. Let's go up onto the 10 minute. We've got some resistance coming into play here, but we've got volume falling away, low volume node right at the top. They're up at 62. But we've got to get through this level first. And certainly we've got through this level, so that's a positive sign. We've got some support coming into play. Really need to breach this region here and get through into this low volume area here if we're going to see continued progress of this particular rally. Decent volume under that candle. You can see the trend monitor is already starting to reflect the fact that we're seeing a slowdown in that bullish momentum. You've got a pivot to the upside here, so that's giving us a clue that there's some, you know, some weakness in terms of the intraday price action at any rate, in terms of the 1 minute time frame. Just keep an eye on the time and sales window as well. The VIX is falling; it's down to 27.3. Falling quite nicely at the moment, so you know we're comfortable seeing the trading the indices to the long side, certainly in terms of the NQ and the ES. At any rate, the YM much more sluggish. Interesting price action there. We've got some decent selling under that candle. No great surprise. We've had a decent rally, so there'll be sellers taking their profits in there. Hardly a great surprise. We've also got a small wick to the lower body, so there is some buying in there. Just keeping an eye on the VIX. And this is why you need multiple monitors all the time. You know, trading on one screen is fine. We all start with one screen, but ultimately you'll find you'll need 5, 6, some traders have more than that, 8, 10, whatever, to keep track of all the related markets. You need to know what is going on in terms of risk, basically. What is the risk sentiment? Is it risk on, risk off? And how is that reflected in terms of bonds, bond yields, currencies, risk currencies, and risk markets? Not much selling going on under those candles there. Back at the volume point of control, which has spiked up to the new level. Just see what's going on the ES, see if it's doing the same thing. Yeah, pretty much. You can see the YM here is just struggling at the volume point of control, it's just not moving through. Absolutely no momentum. It's all very weak price action, but there are moves. And that's a decent move. Traders will have jumped in there quite happily, made money on that move. As long as you're patient and wait for the momentum to come into the market. And if that momentum is confirmed as it was here in terms of the ES, then it's a lower risk proposition. Where it's not being reflected at all is in the Dow. But then the Dow is often, I was going to say at variance, it is a less diverse market than the other two, purely because of the number of constituents. Just looking at these blocks going through here. VIX has gone into congestion phase at the moment. There's a block of 100 just gone through there. It was marked with a B. Very sluggish. Pausing. Let's just go back onto the multiple time frames just before we wrap up. There we go. Let's go on to the 15. Oops, sorry about that. Disappeared. Where's that gone? There is it. Where is it? Where's my chart gone? I've lost that chart. I don't know where that's gone. Gone somewhere. Let's put a new chart on. Oh, let's put anything on. There we go. Yeah, it's just got to put a new. I lost a chart somewhere. Let's pop that up there. And we'll put a template on. Put that one on there. There we go. Get rid of that. Change that to 15 second. There we go. There we go. Try and do that again. There we go. And that's a mini classic example of VPA, if you will. That is a perfect. If I was drawing this in an example book, this is what I would draw. I would draw widening spreads and rising volume. And that is the classic arrangement that you're looking for. That's VPA 101 in terms of a waterfall to the downside. Now this is 15 second, obviously. This isn't even a minute with those three. But once you start to see that sort of price arrangement in a slower time frame, that's a classical price waterfall. Obviously, you're looking for that to continue, but it's those sorts of things that you're looking for constantly to confirm. And as I said earlier, it takes effort to move to the downside as it does to take to the upside. So what you're looking for in any move to the downside is rising volume in the same way that you look at it to the upside. Many traders mistakenly struggle to grasp that particular concept because we're all familiar with gravity, something taking effort to move higher. In trading parlance, it's also or in volume price analysis parlance, it takes effort to move lower, because if there isn't any selling pressure, the market isn't going to go very far. It makes sense when you think about it. If the selling is heavy, the market's going to move rapidly. And as Anna said, they always move more rapidly to the downside than they do to the upside. Big spike in volume just come through there. Almost the highest on the chart. It's on a doji candle. It's practically insignificant. It's in there somewhere hidden. You can't really infer much to it other than it's a a candle of indecision, if you will. Market's trying to rally again, wick to the upper body, good volume under it, not going very far. You've got price resistance coming in overhead here in terms of the blue dash line, and you've also got lots of volume here as well. It's a curious market at the moment. It's one of those markets where it's almost desperate to rally, desperate to rise all the time, and it's got that sense of desperation about it in a global environment which is extreme, to say the least. But there's this constant desperation with the NQ where it's always looking to move to the upside. It doesn't want to fall. It's not ready to fall. It just constantly wants to move upwards all the time, and your analysis has got to be based on, forget about what is going on in the world, forget about what you think about what should be happening, forget about unemployment, forget about anything to do with that. You just have to look at the volume either as an intraday trader or as a longer term trader. And in fact, I think I've got the, if I change this, just change this over to the weekly chart. Yeah. And this really highlights the power of volume price. Now, I know we've gone from 15-second to a weekly chart. You think, oh my God. But this really just highlights the power of volume price analysis and what it reveals on the chart, the truth behind the numbers, if you will, the truth behind the price action. Because this was the plunge. We had massive volume coming in this week. We had the big operators, market makers selling into weakness, tons of volume coming in. This is a classic candle. It's one I look for all the time in downtrends because it's a great re-entry opportunity. If you've got a cascading price action and you see this, you know for sure that that's selling, that is the big operators selling into weakness, you know for sure it's going to go lower. We then get this candle with a massive wick under it. But what's interesting about this particular candle, and this really reveals everything you need to know, is if you look at that candle, you look at the volume below it, it's above average, but it's not extreme. For that sort of amount of price action, you would expect to see something extreme. You'd expect to see something somewhere up here, and it's not. You've got those sorts of volume bars over here when the market's just sort of racking about in its usual daily mode. So, you know, what on earth is that telling you? Well, it's telling you loud and clear that the selling is completed. The big operators have sold out. They're not selling into this anymore. They're going to buy into it, and they do buy into it. And then we're off on a V-shaped rally. And that's the sadness that most retail traders, as Anna said, they, you know, with the Shanghai comp, I think it was a few days ago, the Chinese government was exhorting its citizens to go and buy into equities which were rising at a rate of knots. It happens all the time, sadly, and you know they're not conversant with volume, and it just reveals what is going on behind the numbers. It's as simple and as straightforward as that, and it doesn't take a genius to study it. It takes effort, it takes practice, it takes time. Can't do it in 5 minutes, but it's a powerful methodology. And whether you apply it just on its own, whether you use indicators, whether you have a methodology, as Anna said, whether you're an Elliott wave trader, you may be struggling with Elliott wave and you want something else, then you know we have a lot of traders out there who've come to VPA and they've applied it to their existing methodology and found success that way. I'm going to wrap up at that point because my voice is going a little bit. Just to finish off, you'll find all the indicators over here at quantumtrading.com. MT45, NinjaTrader 7.8, TradingView, TradeStation we are working on is coming along, will be along in the next 3 to 4 weeks tops. So that will be all up and running, and there'll be 2 versions of TradeStation. There's TradeStation Global, which is TradeStation running on 9.5 with Interactive Broker as the live data feed. So if you have an IB account, we do, it works great. Then they've got TradeStation 10 and above, which is TradeStation Securities with Radar Screen and everything else. Radar Screen is available on TradeStation Global also, and all the indicators will be available, or pretty much all of them will be available. It is a little bit dependent on what's available through IB, but that will all be very made clear on the site with the support pages and everything else. So that's where we are with the indicators. Thereafter, we're going to move back to TradingView. We're going to port all the other indicators over, because PineScript now gives us the option to draw and line draw and object draw. So that's great. So we can pretty much be assured that we're going to get all of them back over onto TradingView. And then after that, we are going to be working on a screening option for MT45. So if you're on the full package, you will get that free of charge, because you get every indicator we develop free of charge on any of our platforms if you invest in the full package. And after that, we're going to be moving on to multi-charts. After that, I don't know, we've got some platforms we're looking at, but there will be others coming along next year. In terms of Anna's analysis and books, you can find them all here at annacooling.com. You can find all the books up on Kindle, on Amazon rather, they're in Kindle and also in paperback. And finally, just over onto the Forex program, you'll find it here. It is the complete Forex trading program. It has the full package of indicators, whichever platform you choose, and it covers everything you need to know to start trading Forex with confidence. It's as simple as that. There we go, that's us done. I hope you've enjoyed today, and we will be back on Tuesday next week at 7:45 London time for the London session, London Forex session. Enjoy the rest of the trading day, enjoy the rest of the trading week, have a great weekend. Stay safe, thanks for coming along today. Hope you've enjoyed it, and we will see you again soon. Bye for now.